Right, we have some bits to fit and updates to mention on the MK18 build. So you'll probably see there's a few bits and pieces here that are in bits. Got the lower here as well. So some Magpul bits are turned up, so very much thank you to Airsmiths. Got an MOE Plus, just what I could get my hands on, and a CTR stock. So we'll get these fitted. Very simple with this, we just slide the stock off, pop that to one side, and the grip we're going to need an Allen key. I think it's a 4mm. Not that size. There we go. So we can take this off as well. Dead simple. We'll retain that bolt as well. So first of all, let's get the MOE Plus on, and the plus means that the grip has a rubberized texture. So normal MOE style, but we're going to have added grip on the grip, of course. So remove that, you get the normal mounting screw, which we're not going to need. So we can pop this into the grip, and we can slide this on. You know, best to use the standard TM mounting hardware, because we can just swap it over. I'm just going to torque that up slightly, make sure it doesn't come loose. That is how easy the grip is to fit. So, you know, nice MOE grip there. Check that box off. CTR is going to be even easier. Let's grab a blade. And chop the sellotape. I do like the Magpul packaging, it is very good. We get stickers and stuff in there as well, but we ain't worried about that. If you're going for real steel stuff for your MWS, always make sure you pick the mil spec stuff, not the commercial. Otherwise you'll have a nice loose fitting stock. And there we go. The reason I go for the CTRs is because when we're adjusting it, you do have a bit of movement. You clip that down, it locks the stock, so it just puts an extra bit of grip onto the tube, and it stops it wobbling around. So very good indeed. That's the lower finished almost. We do have a Magpul trigger guard. What did I do with that? So I'm hoping this fits. It is a real one. Let's just quickly check it. Will we need to modify it? Don't think we will, so that's good. Let's get something to punch this out with. Need a bit of size and that. These TM ones don't really tend to be massively tight. Of course, if you are hitting a pin out of your trigger guard and it is tight, always make sure you secure this against something, because if you don't, you probably end up cracking and breaking it off. So we can pop this on there. I think it is going to need a bit of filing to situate because it's a little bit proud. So let's get that done. So all I've done off camera there, I'll demonstrate to you in just a second. Let's get this fitted on. My voice is still coming in and out, so bear with me. So with a lot of real steel parts, sometimes you need to do a little bit of modification. And the way these MOE trigger guards sit on there, there's just a bit too much material on these inner edges which catches the receiver. So you can either use a file, but with the Magpul ones being polymer, it's much easier. Just you have to be very careful. So if you are doing it this way, you need to make sure your hands are nowhere near it. Just taking a blade and just shaving the plastic off slightly and fitting it. So it took a couple of minutes just to, you know, neatly do it. But that's the Magpul trigger guard fitted, and now our lower is pretty much complete external wise. So let's pop this to one side. Now we have the complete cluster that was the front end. Now, I know what many of you are going to say. You're going to jump down in the comments below and you're going to start, oh, you should have bought the special tool. It would not have helped. So I made a tool. I made a castle nut tool. I made it out of aluminium first. Heated up the barrel nut. Used the aluminium tool that I made. It was that tight, the aluminium tool just obviously got obliterated. So I was like, fair enough, perhaps it was on me. I was being, you know, I was being ambitious with an aluminium tool, so I made the tool out of steel. Steel one was very, very strong, heating up the barrel nut. And what you'll see is it just started, the metal's that soft, and this was on there that solid, that the steel tool was just pushing the metal round, and it was just moving like Play-Doh, which you'll see on there, and the tool was just slipping out. So then I got really annoyed and just ended up smacking it. So that was where the tool slipped, and this here was done by the barrel nut tool. It just let go one side. I was like, right, okay. So then I just got a bit pissed off with it. I'm, you know, ill anyway, so I literally just put a flathead on the nut tool. I didn't heat it up again, popped it on there and literally tap, and the barrel nut come loose now. This may look a bit of a mess. I'm not going to be reusing it. I have done many Mark 18 MWSs and Mark 18 recoil shocks from Marui, so this isn't a new area for me. You know, a lot of the times you can put like a tool on here and just tap them off, but this was on there, and it got to the point where I thought, you know, screw it, I'm just going to break it. If the barrel nut breaks, we'll get around that another way. So that, I'm not going to be reusing it. I could get away with it. We do have a couple of options. I have an MTR16 front end where the barrel nut is the same thread. It's just a little bit longer and it has a bit more meat on it. So I could shove that on the lathe, turn that down and use that, which I might do. The second option is getting a friend of mine to turn a steel barrel nut, which I've asked him about and he's happy to give it a go. Or the third option is just change the rail. So we'll see where we get with that. But everything's apart. And I know even though I've mentioned it, people are still going to jump in the comments and you should have bought the MP15 tool from Brownells and this, that and the other. Well, I ain't waiting around for weeks and weeks and weeks for that thing to turn up, so I just made one. So I've got the steel tool, it's undamaged, it'll work. If I decide to use the MTR16 one and modify it so it's the same as this because it's a little bit wider, I'll still be able to put it on, so that's good. Let's get into the meat and taters though. So we've got a barrel done, turned the barrel down, and we've got a hot rubber. So we've got a 9-ball hot rubber. These do work very well in the MWSs when you're not going for like DMR sort of power ranges. So we've got a 9-ball rubber here. We're going to fit this onto the stainless barrel. Make sure that sits in place. Nice and centered. Yes, it is. We're going to be using this standard hop housing. We're going to be using the standard arm. but the part that we're going to be partnering up with this is the BavTac nub. Not sure if I've done a video installing these before, probably haven't, but you can get these from BavTac. It's literally just a concave nub, it's 3D printed, and we can pop that in there and that'll replace the little rubber that normally sits there. And this will help us lift heavier BBs and be able to put that pressure on the hot rubber. So we'll put the bigger O-ring down, which secures on there. If you'll notice that I've done the barrel a little bit longer, that's just because there was a bit of empty space in the outer barrel, which you'll see there is a bit dinged up, but not to worry about that. I'm going to skim it and probably coat it anyway. And there we have inner barrel and hop. Let's test, make sure it works, which it does. Everything's seated nicely. We can slide that into the outer barrel if it wants to go in there. So there we have our barrel done. So we can loosely fit this for now. So our barrel can go in there. Oh. First, before I do that, I just want to rub that down with a file to remove that burr. Yeah, I've never known one of these MK18s be so secured on there. I have removed a few of these. And although that might not look pretty, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skim it on the lathe and then coat it anyway, so we don't need to worry too much about that. We can secure that in. Just want to make sure this all goes together. Just put the bolt assembly in there. Put the lower on. So, where's my... I didn't actually need to loosen this off at all because the holder back will get in the barrel, the secondary barrel nut off. This was all loose when I took it apart. See, that will go back on there. I do want to kind of retain the original MK18 rail. So I think what we'll do is we'll get a nut made for this. There are companies out there that make them, they're just not in stock anywhere. So that's done. All the Magpul bits are on there, so that's nice. So you can kind of get an idea of where we've got to. Internally, we're done. We do need to fix that, and then the rest of the part of the front can go on. Magpul parts fitted. Obviously, the external bits can go on. PET box, red dot sight, magnifier, suppressor. I did buy a grip as well. You know, guys said that I should get like a shorty tan grip. So picked up a Magpul RVG to match. Might as well keep it all Magpul. You can either use I think it's an imperial size Allen key, or you can just use a flathead screwdriver. So we have the grips on there. Obviously the PET box, I'm just going to loosely sit this on. Suppressor will go on like that. Red dot sight and magnifier, of course. So we haven't really got much left to do. I'm still on the fence whether to coat the body and the rail in FDE to match and have it all FDE. I don't know if that will look a bit strange. So if you guys think I should do that, perhaps just jot your opinions down below. So we're almost there. Obviously, a bit of a step back with the barrel nut. It's just one of them things. You know, if this was somebody else's, I probably wouldn't have just heave-hoed it. But because I was just getting fed up, I thought, you know, this thing is coming off. And the amount of Loctite in there was ridiculous. So it's just, perhaps someone at the Tokyo Marine factory was just being a bit overzealous with it. Who knows? But I do have the MTR16 rail. And the barrel nut is very, very similar. Like I say, we'll just need to trim the fat back end off. So yeah, we're almost there. Just a little bit of an update for you lot that are waiting for it. If you think I should Cerakote the body and the rail FDE as well, I'll probably leave all the intermediate things like the selectors, the trigger and the pins and all that. Probably leave all that black, just do upper lower receiver and the rail and FDE. I also have a Guns Modify adjustable steel sear. This is the semi-sear. To try and get the trigger a little bit better, maybe a bit like my Geissler build. So yeah, getting close. Stay tuned for the next part, which will be up as soon as I can get all the bits together and record it. And I'll see you in the next video.